Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Oh my goodness. Pat, do not do that to me. Okay, we've got some full disclosure to give up, haven't we? We've got some absolute full disclosure. First of all, apologies. We've had some absolutely bonkers technical issues getting ready for today. So first off, very apologies for starting off late. Glad to have you all on, though. I appreciate that very much. The first technical issue has been dealt with, and that is obviously the glitching issues we've been suffering with for the last week. Hopefully that is over now, so I won't be like stopping mid-frame like this and still talking. So hopefully that won't happen again. So that's cool. Check. And it looks like it's working, so that's also quite good. The other thing is Pat's video feed cut out as I pressed play on that video. So I pressed play to do the intro, and Pat just disappears off the screen, and I'm like, oh no. So I had to kind of go like, right, I didn't upload that single panel that I was going to do a minute ago, and now I'm just kind of going to have a news burst background. But thankfully, Pat, you appeared at the last second.
What happened was I didn't have like all the files for all the pictures, like the document that we use loaded. And when I went to load that, it went to load it on the page where, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So it removed me from the thing. And I'm like, no. So I like quickly clicked in, and I heard, "What is it, Pat?" And I'm like, "It's the Full Force Weekly. Here I am."
That is honestly the closest we've ever cut anything ever. That was amazing. I was almost, as soon as, because the funny thing was, guys, honestly, if you could see how this is laid out, it's so funny. We've got like all our, the screen kind of laid out. We can see each other on screen and everything. But I had these little videos at the bottom, and I can kind of move them around and change them and everything. And I swear to you, I'm like, Pat, we're going to go live then, if that's cool, buddy. And he's like, yeah, sure. So we So I got rid of us off the screen. There we are, all lined up, ready to go. I literally pressed click on play the video, the intro, and Pat's video on the bottom of the screen just went ding off. And I'm like, oh no. And the video's going, and I'm thinking, have I got enough time to do this, this, and this? And I'm like, I'm going to have to cancel this stream.
No, it's the Full Force Weekly. We're here and we're ready to go.
2 seconds. It was 2 seconds. Anyway, we are ready to go. We are absolutely 100% ready to go. Anyway, great to have everyone on board already. Like, loads of people stayed amazingly for all of that. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, sorry we're late. So sorry. My fault.
It will probably happen again, so get used to it. Anyway, let's get into the news then, Pat. There's been tons this week.
There has, yes.
Absolutely hit like an absolute ton of bricks a couple of days ago, and it's just been. I thought we're just going to be talking about the HasLab, then Super 7 drop news, and then some other stuff that you found. We'll get to it all anyway. So first off, we have socks news. Looks like we are getting more branded socks courtesy of Crossover. The company famous for their officially licensed Street Fighter II socks is currently listing a number of upcoming licenses, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Star Trek, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Scooby-Doo, and of course G.I. Joe on their website. The tall socks feature cartoony versions of the main characters, which you can mix and match on the site. I'm excited to see what they have in store for G.I. Joe, but my main aim is to get a mixed pair of Flint and Lady J trotter covers. Yes, you heard that correctly. Trotter covers. You might call them socks. I was trying to think of another silly term, and that's the best I could come up with. Pat, Crossover, socks, excited?
Not really. It's cool. You know, these kinds of socks seem to be in. So, so it's going to be character socks, do you think? That is what we're doing?
Yeah, sorry, I've got these the wrong way around. Yeah, these are like they're famous for these Street Fighter socks. They also do like more and Harry Potter and some other stuff as well. And then obviously you've got all of these to come. So Turtles, Transformers, Star Trek, Power Rangers, Scooby-Doo, etc., and G.I. Joe. But I'm expecting, socks very similar to this, but in like the character of, G.I. Joe characters and stuff. So, you can expect your Dukes, your Cobra Commanders, your Destros, your Baronesses, your Scarlets, your Snake Eyes, your Storm Shadow. In fact, there you go. I've probably just named all the socks they're going to do in that first wave. What do you think?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Maybe Roadblock.
Yeah, I have to say the Guile socks look very correct. Like the fact
Guile and Blanca make sense, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
That's so true. The fact that the shape of the top of the sock as it goes up the leg, absolutely perfect for Guile. Fun, cute, interest. Like it's neat, but like at the end of the day, it's just socks, isn't it? Just put them on your feet. In fact, half the time, I very rarely are my socks out. So get your socks out. Don't get your socks out. Anyway, there we go. That's the G.I. Joe news for crossover socks. Are you getting any, Pat, do you reckon?
No, I don't like having to match my socks. I buy one kind of sock so that I don't have to ever find the other sock. So
you just buy one pair of socks and then you throw them away. Then the next day you buy another pair of socks and you throw them away. Rachel says Tomax Zaymot socks. Actually, that would be great. And that would be annoying, wouldn't it? If you mix and matched Zaymot and Dusty or something. That would really annoy a lot of people.
That wouldn't be right.
That would annoy so many people.
But Tomax and Zaymot would make a lot of sense because then they'd kind of match.
By the way, they do matching pairs of socks, but they just have a thing on their site where you can mix and match, and you can have, like I'm saying, I think it'd be fun to have Flint and Jay, or Snake Eyes and Scarlet, or Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow would be kind of fun.
I guess I wouldn't have to worry about making them match; they would just never match, and that would be the.
But it would work. It would just be ultimate enemies each time, wouldn't it? Do you reckon we're ever going to get DJ and Coruscant? Do you reckon we'll ever get that 2-pack of socks?
No, probably not.
What was the ultimate enemies though? It wasn't those two, was it? It was Coruscant and someone else, wasn't it? Or was it DJ? I can't remember.
Ultimate enemies?
Yeah, the 2-packs they did.
It was Muskrat and Voltar.
No, the 2-packs for the club. They did it was like an ultimate enemies thing, and it was
I don't remember.
I'm sure it was it was in bags. It wasn't in a card or anything, but it was Coruscant and another figure. And that was their thing of
I've kind of forgotten that they even called that Ultimate Enemies.
Then I might have just made that up. In any case, I would. How funny would it be if they did some proper deep cuts on these though? Seriously, I'd be well into that. Sorry, Rachel, I'll get your comment off the screen. Thank you very much for that. By the way, thanks for all your comments coming in, guys. I really appreciate it. Jace says adult underoos coming soon. That would be great. Actually, I'd be in for some G.I. Joe underpants. I think they have done them. Obviously, didn't they do some G.I. Joe speedos once? Not speedos, but briefs that were Y fronts.
I think they did. I think so. I think we've covered those before. Yeah.
I think I've covered myself in them before. Okay, that is crossover socks news. I don't think there's any more in terms of visuals that I've thrown up there, but I'll just double check while we're live. No, that's it. So we can move on to the next bit of news then, guys, and we'll steam through it because we've got a lot to get through today. And the next one is in New Zealand mint news. What? The New Zealand Mint are celebrating the 40th anniversary of G.I. Joe, a real American hero, with a special commemorative 1-ounce silver coin. The rectangular coin features the famous cover from Marvel issue number 1 and will come in a protective display case with Hector Garrido's Snake Eyes version 1 card art. Only 1,982 coins will be made available to purchase, reflecting the year of its original launch, and will set you back $99 each. Yep. It is New Zealand Mint 40th anniversary G.I. Joe coin news. And that's probably a sentence I never thought I would ever say. Pat, thoughts?
Well, I hadn't heard the price until the video that just played. It makes sense. It's silver. So I think this is one of those things that kind of has cross appeal. There are people that just like buying printed silver. And I think that these will probably sell pretty fast.
Yeah, 1,982 of them. Link in the description if you guys are interested, of course. I must admit, I almost did a news burst yesterday called Merch Madness that just had this, the socks, and all the other random stuff that's happened this week, because we're kind of getting back into that. This is what I feel like happened last year, where we had that initial reveal of classified figures, right? We have that initial reveal of classified, right? And following that, you get this like little ripple effect. And it's like, like a month or so later, but then it's like every company then starts revealing, oh, we've got the G.I. Joe license and this is what we're doing. And here's a teaser and here's the product and so on and so forth. And it just like literally like this wave, this ripple like of effect that goes over for like a number of months where you're just being pummeled with all sorts of different kind of merch. Same things happen here, hasn't it? Since kind of like, I would say like since the HasLab kind of was announced, or maybe Yojo June kind of happened. And since then that ripple effect has happened, hasn't it? And it's just been steamrolling through the months. We had like a bit of a lean week. We've had one lean week, mate, and we still had like something to talk about that week. It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. I like what they've chosen here, though. Like, they could have gone a lot of different things for the cover, for what's on it.
I mean, but, yeah, you get the comic cover, which is kind of like slightly rejigged with the 40 logo on it, the 40th logo, and then you got the Snake Eyes version 1 art on the protective case, which is quite nice as well. So it's all to theme, isn't it? It's all of that kind of like stuff that you would expect in that year.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like they wanted to decide between just doing Snake Eyes, but doing all of G.I. Joe.
So they did a bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's really nice and everything. I'm probably not going to go in on this for many reasons. It's not something I collect, but like you say, it's got that cross appeal. Like in a similar kind of way. I've forgotten what I was going to compare it to, but there have been a few where it's been like Stamps and Transformers, for example.
I was recently. Just going to say that. Yeah,
that was on my mind, I think, and that was obviously that's been very recent, where you've had the Royal Mail stamps come out, and they look kind of cool. Actually, they look really nice. So, and again, like not something I've really ever collected. I got a few. I want to say I got a few special Star Wars sets back in the day. Shout out to my Auntie Jan. She picked those up for me for Christmas once. I think it was like a little box set. It was really nice, actually. But yeah, it's not really something I kind of collect. But the stamps there, Pat, the actual Transformers stamps, is that something that you were kind of looking at and going, maybe?
I thought that it was really interesting, like something that I didn't expect to see happen. But no, I mean, I really do kind of wish that I'd saved all the stamps from various packages for toys that I've gotten over the years, because there have been times where people have just put a legit stamp on it in order to send it to me from around the world. So I should have saved those, and that to me would be a stamp collection. I'm not really interested in buying an unused stamp
for more than it's worth. Yeah, to actually send it. Yeah, this is funny from Gaz. Hang on, Gaz V Sagacious. I'm going to say. What is this week's theme? Stuff your nan gets you for your birthday. Better be some nice stamps next. Amazing timing on that one. Great comment as well. Sorry for getting your name completely wrong, by the way. And funnily enough, it's funny I did mention my Auntie Jan, who got me the stamps from the Star Wars series. They're great though. I really like those. Anyway, yeah. So that's what we have. We have this. We've got more visuals. I just didn't bother moving off this screen, so you can see there that the coin and the kind of case that it comes in. Pretty cool. And
how big is this?
Well, it says 1 ounce. I don't know the measurements, but I can find out because I've got the link open here somewhere, and hopefully it will tell us. No, it doesn't. Specs. Maybe it's saying specs. It says 36 mil by 53 mil. 36 millimeters by 53 millimeters. So get your rulers out, get your rules out, and you'll be able to work that out. I'm not gonna. So pretty small, and still kind of cool. And yeah, there you go. That is that news. Also, in kind of related news, we've been seeing a lot of Snake Eyes version 1 recently. Have you noticed that? So we got the retro version revealed at SDCC. This obviously being utilized for this particular kind of box art. And HAKE'S auction just posted yesterday that this bad boy went for some ridiculous money. And I know you've got something to say on that, Pat.
Do I? I wasn't.
I don't know. You just gave me that impression when you went and then started
dynamically moving. I saw how much it went for, and it's just crazy. What was it, like 18 grand or something like that?
Yeah, almost 18 and a half, like 18.4 something, which is quite remarkable, isn't it? I mean, are you just kind of looking at that kind of annoyed at the fact that you had that figure at some point in that form?
No, not, you know what? Not really. I mean, anytime I see how much carded figures went for, unless for some reason I had extra when I was little and I didn't.
Sorry, by the way,
really
Pat,
happened. Having an extra figure never happened when I was a kid.
It went for $18,497.
Yeah, 18
Ouch.
grand.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where if you didn't open it and have fun with it, you wouldn't have the fond memories.
Yes,
in order
then
to
attached to this thing. This thing is, yeah, exactly. The memories are attached to this thing we're looking at right now in the future. But you're right. If you don't have that, you're not buying this for 18 grand if you don't have that feeling in the past. Right. And it's kind of like a weird cyclical thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think many people were getting, one to keep in the package and one to open as a child. I don't think that really happened.
Could you imagine? I very rarely got 2 of anything. The only time I got 2, well, I had told you one of my 2 of everything, 2 of anything, and that was 2 Tomaxes because they sent me one from the G-Force Club. So yeah, I did an army built Tomax, which is like the one character you probably have no intention of army building at any point. Excuse me. So anyway, that's that news. There's not much else to talk about, really. I just thought it was quite an interesting one to kind of throw in there because it happened recently, and it was kind of connected to, and like I said, like to the usage of this version 1 artwork, which is getting kind of utilized in quite a few places again. I mean, which artwork do you think, out of all of Hector's and Earl Norham's and all of the guys on the vintage artwork, which one has been used the most? We'll talk figure-wise first, but which one do you think has been used the most since its release in 1980 whatever, or 1990 whatever?
When Snake Eyes appears, he's kind of split between version 1 and version 2. So yeah, I might guess Cobra Commander.
That is a good one. Although, yeah, that is a good one, actually. I'm trying to think of what I see the most, and I do like. There's a few that kind of I see that I feel like I see more than others. This one I see a lot. This Snake Eyes one that we're looking at right now. The Storm Shadow one I don't see that often. I mean, we have seen it and we've seen it multiple times, but I don't feel it's like rammed down our throats as much. Like, where he's just standing there with the swords crossed and everything. The other one there, Cobra Commander's one, I think. Yeah, you're right. That's got to be up there. But then again, this is going to be kind of muddied in my brain as the ones that I like the most, because they're the ones that stay with you and you seek out and
stands out whenever you see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like for me, it's like version 2 Storm Shadow and Lightfoot, and and for you, it's version
Lightfoot again.
We'll get to. Well, actually, funny you should say that.
It.
Funny you should say that, because we actually have a shout out for a certain person that posted a Lightfoot related thing in the week as well, which we'll get out into in shout outs, and I can rub your face in it, Pat, for saying that. But no, version 3 Snake Eyes, maybe. See, 3 and 4 Snake Eyes very rarely get any love in the
Yeah,
artwork.
that's true.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that is actually that is New Zealand Mint news and also HAKE'S. And like I said, $18,497 that Snake Eyes went for. Unbelievable. Anyway, that is bonkers. And we're on to the next bit of news. And this is Pat. This is all about Pat, this one. So this is World's Smallest. Pat stumbled across these awesome little World's Smallest micro figures and comic packs in Walmart on Wednesday, which includes the G.I. Joe brand. There are 3 specific figures and comics for the Joes to collect, and Pat just happened to pick one of them up. Yes, he got Snake Eyes with issue 3 of the original Marvel run, lucky git. Duke and Roadblock are also available with issues 1 and 2, so keep your eyes peeled for these in your local stores, and for less than $6, it might be well worth it to try and collect them all. Just be aware that there are a lot of them to find covering Transformers, Masters of the Universe, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. We'll have to apologise to Pat before we went into that. Before we went into that news item, I said this relates to Pat now in World's Smallest news. I was like, that sounded really harsh, and it didn't mean to sound like that. I certainly didn't mean it for it to come out that way. And thankfully, Pat hadn't even noticed. But still, yeah. And look, see, Pat has a small Joe. Says RKW1138. He does. He has Snake Eyes. Anyway, Pat, take us through this one, because this is like we're aware of the micro figures. They've been out for ages in multiple different forms and so on and so forth. But now they've thrown in some mini comics.
Yeah, I had to pick one up when I saw these, because I was in Walmart, and actually in the G.I. Joe section there was one of those. There's a lot of stuff on clearance at Walmart right now. And there was one of those packs of smallest, I don't know, you get like 5 things in a package. I forget what they call them, but it's various brands. And there was a Duke that was even smaller than these World's Smallest Dukes. We covered that a while ago. We mentioned it on the show.
Toy box.
Yeah, that's what it was. But it's also from Super Impulse. Anyway, I was curious if they had any more of them, or if they may have been on clearance. So I went over to that area of the store, and it was like, hang on, there's a whole case of these things that are new. So I, snapped some pictures of them, and I bought just one. And luckily, whenever I got home, it was Snake Eyes, which allowed me to see the back of the comic, which showed a little bit more information of, which comics were available, which is not on the side of, the master case. So, yeah, they're kind of cool. I'm really surprised at the print quality of the book. I didn't think that I would actually be able to read the comic, because I expected the letters to not be clear. With that small, the resolution has to be really good, and it's held together by string. So I don't know. I kind of also would think that at this size, that the cut of the pages wouldn't be all that well lined up. But look at it; it's really good.
That's amazing. That is actually quite amazing. That's like legible at that size too.
Yeah.
Did you you get like a little magnifying glass as well, right?
Yeah, you do. And then I picked up a couple more of them at a different Walmart. I kind of was just curious. I was mostly curious if the other Walmart also had them, to see how hard they would be to get in the area. And then when I saw them again, it was like, I'll pick up a few more of these and see who I get. And I got Duke. I got another Snake Eyes.
So, is it the case that Snake Eyes comes with issue 3, Duke comes with issue 1, and Roadblock comes with issue 2? That is a specific thing. They're not mix and match.
Snake Eyes that I got both came with issue number 3.
Okay, that's cool. That's good to know.
I think that they probably are going to stay consistent, which is nice.
That is cool, because for a little bit I was worried. I was like, oh, there's going to be like multiple variations maybe, but no, it's cool that they're doing that. It makes more sense to do that anyway. I just wasn't sure if that was the case. So it's a good job you got a ton of them, Pat. And what other ones did you get out of interest?
So 2 Snake Eyes, 1 Duke, and a Donatello. Which
nice.
Yeah, the Donatello, I kind of wondered what comic books they would be picking from for Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And it's a more modern comic. It's not one of like the very earliest issues from
So
Mirage or
it's
anything.
like IDW, but it's not
Yeah,
Mirage or yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's interesting. That's really cool. Yeah, because I suppose they could easily have, well, maybe it was getting licenses was a pain in the butt
Well,
for them.
I don't know, because there was a really I love seeing comments on whenever you put up stories, because sometimes people post some really good thoughts, and Tim Finn mentioned that it was interesting that Transformers #3 is one of the ones that is available because it's the one with Spider-Man in it.
Oh, yeah. So you think, well, I wouldn't. I would be surprised if they hadn't got permission to use that stuff. I'd be very surprised. It's not
Right,
like
me
they're not
too.
like they're not a bootleg company, are they? It's not like.
No,
But that is an
It's just
interesting.
surprising that that's the one. So I'm really kind of I would like to get that one to see if the book has been changed at all, or I don't know. Maybe this is one of those things where a license piggybacks on another, and they may have gotten the rights from IDW, and I think IDW got the rights to reprint that book.
That's
So
possible.
that
Yeah,
would probably make sense that way.
yeah. That does make a lot of sense, honestly. But that's really, really cool. Sean's actually asked a good question here, Pat. How big is the comic? Will it fit in a classified hand,
Um,
or is it like a broadsheet to a classified figure?
it's pretty small. I could grab it. Maybe during the next thing, during the next video, I will run and grab one. But yeah, no, I can't. Left them at work. Sorry.
Pat's got. I'll just keep that video running, Pat, for like an hour while you run to work and back.
Yeah, they're about that big. About that big. They're not very big at all.
Awesome.
In a classified hand, they may look a little too big, though.
Yeah,
I would
well,
think that they're too big for that.
Diecast
Probably appropriate for 12-inch.
Yeah, Nick says they'd scale well with the 3-0 figures. So
Yeah.
that's a good point. Awesome. So that is micro figures and comics. I'm going to be on the lookout for these because they look adorable. But I don't think I'm going to be as lucky as you in getting GI Joe ones. I mean, the fact you got 3 in what 6?
Yeah, well, both times I kind of picked from the front right of the new case, and that was whenever I got 2 Snake Eyeses out of 2 cases. So I think that there may be some. If it's like other things, it could be that that's where Snake Eyes is going to be.
Interesting. Front right. Keep that in
that's
the.
Where I got it. I don't know.
You see, you get all the good tips on on the Full Force Weekly. I nearly forgot what it was called then, Pat. I nearly had to ask you what it was called. What is it, Pat?
The Full Force Weekly.
There you go. Just testing you. Right. Next up, then we have. This is interesting. This is mobile app news. Once again, let's see how this one goes. Developer Joy City will be collaborating with Hasbro to include G.I. Joe in their mobile app game Gunship Battle Total Warfare. An image showing the Baroness, Cobra Commander and Destro in their classified designs was posted on their socials with the accompanying information that Cobra will be joining the game. The military-based strategy sim allows the user to take command of their forces to prevent nuclear war in the near future. I can see G.I. Joe and Cobra doing well in what is very likely to be a limited-time crossover event with more details to follow. You can check the game out now on both iOS and Android devices and for PC users as well. Yeah, so again, this was another kind of out of nowhere almost kind of, reveal. Gunship Battle. It's always the same way, right? You get this like, oh, G.I. Joe's crossing over with this game. And I'm like, I've never heard of this game before. And then I go and look at it and it's like 50 billion users worldwide. And like, it's ridiculous. And loads of people are playing it. I'm like, where have I been under a rock this entire time? Is it just because I focus on G.I. Joe so much that I don't see what else is going on in the world? Is that what's happening? And the only time I know that something else is happening is because they do a crossover with G.I. Joe. Is that my life now, Pat?
It feels like that's my life as well. Other than Fortnite, some of these games that tons of people are playing, I've just never heard of. I don't know. It almost feels like there's more people being in existence just to play these games all the time. like I don't know what happens because there's just, I mean, why can't I think of the other name of the game that everybody was playing all the time?
What, the crossed over with G.I. Joe?
No, there's just some games that, you know, people put so much time into that I've never heard of. And for me, it's just like Call of Duty I've heard of. I play that
Was it
every
like Elder
Call of Duty.
Scrolls? Elder Scrolls or something like that people are playing, and then that I've never heard in
You know
my
what? I'm probably
life.
thinking of Warcraft, World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
yeah.
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. But then all these little mobile games pop up, and I'll be like, how, this is the thing, and I never knew of, and millions of people are playing it, and it's just like,
Yeah.
it blows my mind.
Maybe millions of people are playing it, but not playing it for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. They're just playing it in between things.
Obviously, there was the crossover with World of Tanks, which was kind of like limited event, you know, boom, did it, in and out, shake it all about. There was the zombie game that happened very recently, just a few months ago, that did a quick kind of crossover event. Again, it looked like loads of money had gone into like the CGI and the animation and all the graphics for just promoting that G.I. Joe were going to be in that game. Again, I open that game and it's like millions of people are playing it, and I'm like, how, again, have I just been asleep at the wheel here? It's crazy. I suppose you can't you can't know that everything is going on, and if it's not in your, if you're not interested in it necessarily, it's likely that you're probably not going to know about it. So yeah, that's happened a lot. Now this comes along, again, similar premise. Loads of people are playing this game, and G.I. Joe are going to be, or Cobra are going to be kind of introduced into it. The funny thing was, though, Pat, and I love this like post. This post ended up happened a few days ago, right? Happened before the official, like the teaser reveal they just showed before, and this comes up, and everyone in the comments, like, had I seen this and really given it some like thought and looked at it, I probably would have said, hang about, that's Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
But because obviously I didn't see this, I saw it after the fact, so I know it 100% it's the classified Cobra Commander design. When this was posted, the comments were literally, Darth Vader's coming, Star Wars crossover, etc. So it was hilarious how many people thought this was going to be Darth Vader. And like I said, had I seen this earlier and given it thought, I probably would have been like, you know what, I can see that it's Cobra Commander.
I think you probably would have been able to call that. You probably would have also called that it was classified series Cobra Commander with that bump on the shoulder.
Yeah, for the cape, definitely. Anyway, it's interesting. I kind of looked at the game the other day, and actually it looks pretty fun. But it's that kind of strategy, very similar to War on Cobra, in that, you know, you're building and you're attacking certain enemy positions and just all that kind of like from above, kind of like a strategy military game. So I don't know if I'll get involved with it. You know, like I tried to jump on some of the other games. There was also the Brawlhalla crossover that happened a few months back with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
Yeah, I did download that. I haven't gotten into too many of the games, but I gave Brawlhalla a try.
Did you actually try it with Snake Eyes and Timber or Storm Shadow?
I think I ended up not getting them, though. I don't remember what happened when I turned that on.
I've got a feeling
remember
that was one where it was limited, wasn't it? And then after it became a limited crossover thing, I'm pretty sure you had to buy them as characters anyway. But
I think that's right. I think I played the game to see how the game was, but I didn't want to actually spend the money because I wasn't going to sit and play it.
I am interested though to see what this is going to look like, because obviously that video that is on their website and on YouTube, the promotional video for the game itself, does look incredible. Obviously, a lot has gone into, you know, creating that universe and everything. But obviously, and I know a lot of the gameplay is just it's not going to be all that beautiful like CGI kind of stuff. That's just like promotional cutscenes and stuff. But I am interested to see how G.I. Joe and Cobra are, like, you know, incorporated into the game. Are we going to see the USS Flag, for example? Are we going to see some sort of like Cobra submarine? Are we going to see, you know, are they going to go to that level, or is it going to be kind of like redecoed things that they already have in the game? So I'm kind of interested to see how that works. But I will say, it's quite cool to see some of the classified designs on display here.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious too. It's making me wonder if any of these are from the same developer or publisher, like to see if assets may be being shared at all.
Well, Joy City do this one. It was D3 Go that did War on Cobra. It was, testing me now. Brawlhalla isn't the same developer, I don't think.
No, Brawlhalla has a different art style entirely. So
yeah, what was the other one we were talking about? Oh, the zombie one, which
right.
I actually can't. I just can't.
It all looks very different, so I guess probably not.
Puzzles and something. Was it Puzzles and Zombies? I think it was Puzzles and Zombies. I can only see a little bit of the.
Yeah,
of the,
as far as the game goes, but I wonder. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that they would have. That there's that many people making 3D versions of GI Joe vehicles.
Todd wants Pong crossover with GI Joe, which would be amazing. It would just. I don't even know how you would make that GI Joe related, but you could have it like fancy, couldn't you? You could have it really fancy, and then like still like with two basic friggin' things going up and down on the side. That's hilarious, Todd. Though. Anyway, anywho, that is Gunship Battle. I don't think we've got any more to kind of go into on Gunship Battle, but still interesting that we're getting another mobile game crossover. Also interesting, they're not doing, because obviously we know they're working on big computer games, like actual video games, like legit ones in the their own studio. They've created an entire studio to work on GI Joe on its own. So like that is kind of in place. It's interesting to see that GI Joe as a license, they're just kind of dipping into these as crossovers, as opposed to just like, where they failed, I think, in like War on Cobra, which was definitely one of those ones that it started strong, but then I think people just, lost interest after a while. Mm-hmm. And what was the other one? Is it Strike? That was a poor attempt. GI Joe Strike, or First Strike or something. It was really poor. Just like, Snake Eyes in the middle of the screen, you could go left or right, just punch and kick enemies. It was pretty poor. So like it's interesting that they're just dropping these in as crossovers, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it does kind of make sense to do a lot of this. I think that seems to be the way that licenses, instead of full licensed games, a lot of times it seems like they are just doing crossover events. I'm sure it helps boost the game as well, because obviously we'd never heard of this game, and now there's a GI Joe one, and here we are. So it makes sense to do these.
Yeah. Toy Kind of Mood has said a GI Joe beat-em arcade like TMNT Shredder's Revenge, smothered in 80s nostalgia, would be awesome for kids and adults, etc. I think that's true, actually. Shout out to Travis as well and all the guys at Toy Kind of Mood. They're also going live with Call Sign Longbow in about 40 minutes. So when you're done here, come say hello. Awesome. There you go, guys. Go check out Toy Kind of Mood on YouTube. Go give them a follow and a subscribe, and go check them out on you go live with Call Sign Longbow, which will be awesome. I would say I had this conversation, name drop. Can I just drop an absolute clanger of a name drop here, Pat? I was with HasBRO in in an arcade scenario, and we were chatting. I say with HasBRO. I was with Emily, Lenny, Corey, Emily, and BMAC of HasBRO fame. And we were all kind of in Dave & Buster's, we're playing all these silly arcade games and everything. And we were talking about how cool would it be to do a Transformers beat 'em up, and how cool that would be, where you could have like proper, like a Street Fighter or like Marvel Capcom kind of, beat 'em up with Transformer characters that would, some of the special moves would be that they transform, and like, if they're cars, they drive into them fast, or a smoke screen could like, cover the whole screen in smoke, and you get a few punches in while you couldn't see, kind of thing. Things like that. Like how, and if they did it like upped the fun aspect of it, how much fun that would be.
Yeah, I think some of the appeal of GI Joe and Transformers is the sheer number of characters, and then that becomes a challenge for a video game company to actually make moves that are specific to all of those characters. But worth it, I think.
Yeah, and I think I do as well. I think if they kind of lean into some of the nostalgic aspects, even if it wasn't like the leading thing they do, if it was just something they did, like something they threw out there as a license, I think more people would get a real buzz out of that. And I think you get a lot of downloads if it was like on Steam or if it was just like a regular game. I think that would be pretty dope. Even if it was just an arcade game. And I'm not just talking Transformers here, like G.I. Joe would work in that situation as well. Because they're all like, they're all going to have specialties, aren't they? Which is amazing. So you've got special moves kind of inbuilt already. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, that is... Robert H. says, Christ, you just described the GBC Beast Wars 2 game. Did I? I need to check that out. I don't think I'm aware of that one, Robert H. Pat, are you aware of that one?
Well, I think if it's at all like, well, I don't know about Game Boy Color, but I had played one for, was it the PlayStation or the, I think the one that I played was for the Nintendo 64. There was a Beast Wars Transmetals game.
Yeah.
And I think that the name of the game may have changed a couple of times, but Beast Wars 2, I don't know if it's the Japanese Beast Wars 2 that he means, and maybe it's a game I'm not aware of. But yeah, there was a Transmetals game that was different for each platform a little bit that it was on.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think maybe it was maybe a Blockbuster exclusive. You had to rent it to play it.
My goodness, I want to see all of it. I'm gonna have to go on a deep dive after this. I'll be hitting Transformers Wiki up pretty hard after this. Robert H. Thanks for that. He's also said, personally, I want a Transformers racing game, is what Robert H. wants. Actually, that would be kind of fun.
I just want more of the original NES G.I. Joe. Just give me more levels and more characters of that, and I will be happy.
Absolutely. Anyway, okay. That is Gunship Battle. My God, we've still got loads to cover. Let's get on to the next bit of news, Pat, which it's getting more and more substantial. Don't worry. Next up, we have Super 7. Super 7. I nearly said Super 6. Super 7 revealed their brand new G.I. Joe Reaction Wave 4 in the week after we reported on listings for these very figures over 3 months ago. The wave includes 6 variations of camo green shirts seen in episodes from the first miniseries and in Satellite Down, 6 variations of the female Cobra Trooper seen in multiple episodes of the cartoon, and then the standard wave featuring colour-changing Zartan as he appears in Revenge of Cobra, Cobra Commander with his serpent staff and pink cape from the Mass Device, Shipwreck and Polly as they appear in almost every classic iteration, the Sunbow Bat with lots of cool accessories, Blonde Cover Girl, also from the Mass Device miniseries, and a hatless snakeling disguised Snake Eyes with disc accessory. Let's get into it then. Let's do that. Again, this was a nice little surprise, and one thing I misread an email with Brian Flynn in organising our next interview, and I thought it was going to be happening on Tuesday. And I was completely wrong. It's next week, this coming Tuesday. Don't worry, it's all been sorted out. So we're going to be doing that interview, and I'm thankful that that is the case, because had we done it on Tuesday, I'd have missed this entire reveal. So I think they wanted to do that on purpose because they were dropping this information, and so we can talk about this as well going into that interview, as well as all the SDCC stuff that we'll be talking about as well next week. So I'm really excited to do that with Brian. But this Wave 4 reaction, Pat, I was kind of getting to the point I was thinking, it's weird, like Super 7 haven't revealed another wave of reaction for a while. and which was stupid when you think about all the stuff they'd just done over SDCC. But I was thinking, I wonder, we did the listings about these particular figures ages ago. We talked about it in depth about, what version Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes it was going to be. It turns out it was the internal Super 7 version numbering of those particular characters.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's go through these stage by stage. Start off with the camo green shirts. What do you think of these? What do you think of these? What do you think of these?
I think that it's a good addition, considering, like, I did recognize them from the Sunbow episodes.
Yeah.
These are ones that have stood out to me before, because when you see them in the episode, it's like, wait a minute, that'd be an interesting figure to come out. I'm still kind of the same feeling. Like, I don't need 6 different ones. I think 3 may be enough. 6 is a lot, and
hey, mate, it's not 9.
Well, that's true. It's not 9, but that's what it has been quite a lot.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, I went to update my list of what all figures were coming out, and then realized, wait a minute, we already covered these. We just haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think it's cool that they're making them. I've picked up a lot of them. I have most, I think, of wave 1 now, and most of what I want. I think this is the best wave we've seen so far, though.
It's a pretty strong one. Definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. Phoebe agrees as well. She thinks this is a strong one. In terms of the camo green shirts, though, I did not recognize them at first. I thought, oh, maybe this is Super 7 doing like a,
Yeah.
you know, like a kind of their own little internal, adding their own little kind of twist on, you know, like a repaint, basically. And I kind of thought that when I looked at the back of the card, and I've realized now why they've doctored the original green shirt one and just given it like a fake camo, if you know what I mean, that wasn't on the original animation
Yeah.
cell. And it's because that particular green shirt style with the H strap, which is what these figures have, because they're a repaint of the green shirt, that isn't the case with the ones that were seen in Satellite Down and the was it the Mass Device, I think, the first miniseries. First or the second, I can't remember which one, but Jay Doran, thanks for the shout out when I was doing the news burst. He said he picked out these 2 particular episodes and was like, actually, I think they have done them. And yeah, I stood corrected. And also, funnily enough, I don't think they're, what's the word? I don't think they're consistent in how the camo is. And I mean that in terms of what is the main background color and what is the actual camouflage splash. Because on the figure down below, it looks like it's a light green base with the camo dark patches, and on the one above it looks like a dark green base with the light green patches. Again, what difference does that make? Hardly any. But I just thought it was interesting, and that's probably why we're not seeing them using one of these images on the back of the card, because of the strap that's utilized on the figure. But that's a long way round to say something very simple, and I apologize to everyone that had to put up with that, including Pat. But yeah, green shirts, camo, nice addition. I agree with you as well. I think, you know, when it gets to like 6 and 9, I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I'm happy to see variations in, you know, skin tones and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I think you're right. I think just 3 skin tone variants would suffice. Make them a little bit different each as well, and that's kind of cool as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going to be going all in on this kind of stuff, so it's not too much of an issue for me. Renegade Biker says, that looks great with the Super 7 figures, but I wonder, Chris, if Hasbro would do that in classified line, like a blonde hair Cobra Trooper like Layla. Have you seen the vintage line Layla? The vintage line Layla? No. Have you, Pat?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah, you might have to, go into a bit more detail on that one, bud. Okay. Cool. That's the green shirts. On to the next. Well, actually, we get a nice little shot here of the green shirts in the product shot, which again, they actually look kind of nice, actually. And I've also got a green shirt somewhere. It's too far away. I can't get him. But yeah.
Is he at work?
Yeah.
We'll just both go.
I'm just going to play a video for 3 hours while Pat and I run off and grab some things. But yeah, I think they look really nice. The product shots always make them look really cool as well. Yeah. And then we've got the female Cobra Troopers. Again, multiple variations, different hair lengths, different hair colors, different skin tones. Yeah, again, cool to see. But yeah, it's like, I don't think I can get every single one of these figures ever.
Yeah, I'm just keeping track of what ones exist, so that if the opportunity to get, you know, some of them cheap pops up, then I will remember which ones that I had. But other than that, I'm not.
Yeah, the price is kind of like, I mean, there's like wave 1 through 3, I believe, is like on clearance in a lot of places. And I say clearance, they've got like sales on a lot of them. Yeah. I think didn't someone in our group sent us a picture of, like, it might have been you actually, of some for like $10 each, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I picked up most of wave 1 for $10 each. So I already had a few of them, and that's fine. But actually, it was it was most of wave 1 and some of wave 2, I think.
Yeah,
were like $10 each. So I picked up those. There's some of these that I never expect to see on clearance though, like the PSA Roadblock and Mutt. Yeah. I would never expect to see those. The San Diego Comic-Con Globe Patrol ones, I would never expect to see those. But some of these may still, here and there pop up. So I'm just going to keep track of what ones I do have in order to, even at $10, I probably wouldn't want to buy the same one twice too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I know what you mean on that one. Tapanjit says, we need these in classified line. A huge Joe fan from India. Thank you so much. That's amazing. You've traveled all that way to this video. No, I appreciate that, man. And I agree. I think a female Cobra Trooper in the classified line is an absolute must. And I don't think, honestly, if that's a bet, if I was a betting man, I probably would imagine that to be a pretty high on their agenda for figures in the classified line. Would you say, Pat?
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense.
Vlad says the same thing. I need some female troopers for classified ASAP, Hasbro. ASAP Rocky. Right. Oh, that's a good point, actually, Punk with Toys. We will talk about this. Don't forget to mention they've jumped up $2 to $20 a figure now. They have, actually, yeah. At first, I thought that was a SDCC only thing. I thought they were $20 just at SDCC, but for the Glow Patrol figures, I was kind of specifically talking about. And now it looks like they're all $20 across the board. But genuinely, you can get, I'm not saying like wait until whatever to get them, but they are in abundance. If you want to get these figures at any point in time, other than what Pat was saying about SDCC and exclusive stuff and all these little special bits here and there, I think the main line you can pretty much get very comfortably and also at decent prices now, like wave 1 through 3. So there's the card back as well. Again, utilizing an image from the Sunbow cartoon. A few people have mentioned they're not a fan of this, but I really like the fact that they show the artwork from the cartoon. Like if it's a cartoon homage, if it's a comic homage, whatever the homage is, I like that they use artwork that resembles conveys that, if you know what I mean, for the file card. I think it's a really nice touch. And I do like it when I see the Sunbow art on the backs here. What do you think about that, Pat?
Well, I think I do prefer them to match more with the vintage line cards so that they would have like the painted artwork. But since the figures aren't the same, I think it's fine to have the cards also be some, a little bit different, since this line isn't really a continuation of the vintage 3 3/4 inch line. It's like its own thing and supplemental. So I don't know. It also kind of tells us on some characters whether they are thinking comic book or cartoon, which it's pretty much always been cartoon whenever there would be any question between the two.
Yeah.
But, it kind of works.
Yeah. Neil Hill says, due to the price increase and just the price in general, I'm only picking up the heavy hitters from now on.
Yeah.
Variations even are going to be probably off the table. It's a good point, Neil, and I think you're not the only one at all in that one. I think we're all kind of doing the same kind of thing here, really. Cool. And again, nice product shots as well. Fun little desert shot there with three of the variations, 3 of the 6 variations, I should say. All nice and cool. Also, we got the main wave. Now, a couple of things I didn't realize as I was doing the news burst. Zartan is a color changer. He changes color in the sun, UV changing properties in the skin on Zartan. How cool is that?
That's really cool. I had no idea that was the case whenever these first went up. I don't know, where did you find that out anyway?
On the only place you could find out, which is super7.com, under that figures information. I know, like I was kind of like just too busy like looking at everything and getting it all in and then getting all of the images ready.
Does it say whether it's heat or light activated?
UV, it says. I'll read out what it says. And in fact, I've got it here ready. It's like I prepared. A master of disguise and subterfuge, Zartan's fanatical loyalty to Cobra Commander's wealth and power makes him a dangerous adversary. This 3 3/4 articulated G.I. Joe reaction figure of Zartan depicts the Cobra mercenary and dreadnought leader as he appears in the Revenge of Cobra miniseries and comes with a removable backpack and mask, along with a weapon accessory, in addition Zartan features UV-activated color-changing skin straight out of the show, creating much more damage behind enemy lines. Zartan isn't much for direct confrontation, so he'd probably relish you adding his G.I. Joe reaction figure to your collection so he can be out of harm's way. Nice little touch there by the marketing team. But how dope is that? Also, I do have an image of it. There you go. That's the kind of product, the sexy product lighting shot. But then also, there's a video I've got on our Facebook page and our Twitter page, which has a kind of turning Zartan with the color change on the skin. So you can see it nice and clear, but it's all, I'm just really happy they did that.
Wasn't that a render though? Is that right? Turning?
Well, I don't think, well, it might be, but also I think, I don't know, I'd have to double check, but I'm not going
to have that full experience anyway until I find one of these and actually take it out into the sun and see what happens. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to get one, and then
it's a render. It's a render.
It is a render. Yeah. I thought it was when I saw it.
What I meant was that image shows you a bit clearer the color change as opposed to this one, which is lit a different way. So I just wanted to, that's all I was saying. But like how it works and how it actually kind of turns out is a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it?
I'm really curious to see if it's the plastic changing color. I would expect that it is a paint, though.
Yeah, I would too, because it's going to be
coating or something.
No, I think you're right, because or maybe the plastic is all color change and they painted the parts that don't.
That's also possible. Yeah,
maybe. And it's only the upper and the arms, isn't it? In that case, so maybe that. Do you know what? I'll ask Brian next week.
Usually the head and arms are a different kind of plastic than the torso. So I'm going to guess that it's a paint, because if it wasn't, they would have to find a type of pigment for the plastic that would work about the same on that torso in uniform with the arms and head, which would be very difficult. So I think that it's probably the paint or a coating over the paint.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We'll see, I guess. We'll definitely see. And like I said, I'll ask that question too. We've got some comments coming in. Sorry, guys, loads of them. Tapanjit says again, also, would love to hear your thoughts on the chances of getting the HISS before the current scheduled date of the end of 2023, especially considering most of the new figs are releasing before schedule. I would imagine it's going to be close to when they said it's going to come, or it's going to be a little bit afterwards, Tapanjit, mainly because I know some figures are like they're getting ahead of schedule again. They're starting to get back into it now. Figures are starting to kind of, come in, but there's still issues there. And I think with something as complex as the HISS tank, I mean, you don't know how long, like there could be delays in the production of that. There could be issues that come up in that production. There's still things they're still working out. Which they've said, Lenny said I'm not I'm not talking out of class here. That is stuff that they've, explained that, things like, what was it? Blast effects that they're working on, like the weights and the balances of how blast effects are going to work with that HISS tank. So there's a lot of things they're still doing. What do you think about that, Pat? Do you think we'll get it before or after or during?
I think that if they had hit 100% of the goal, it would have taken, however long time in order to manufacture all of them. But hitting 300% of the goal, it's going to take 3 times that amount of time to manufacture them. So I don't know. That estimate of the end of 2023, I'm not going to be really upset if they are in, first quarter of 2024. I think that'd be okay with me. Probably not some other people.
I will say, though, that maybe Hasbro have padded quite significantly with that in mind, and that's why they gave us that date.
Yeah, that could be. I remember whenever Unicron shipped, the first ones that everybody was seeing ship were the ones that were from some of the online retailers, like in the UK, that had been like the authorized retailer of them there. They had them first and started shipping them out, and then it probably was a good month and a half before I got a shipping notice on mine. So it was probably almost 2 months after the fact. At least that's what it felt like. I could be wrong. I probably should go back and look, but I don't know. I mean, they say the end of 2023. If that's the case and they start shipping them then, I don't personally expect to have mine right away whenever everybody else starts getting theirs. That's my expectation.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, that's Zartan. He looks awesome. We also got Cobra Commander in his pink cape instead. So a lot of people were saying about the Commander that, you know, he has a red cape, he doesn't have a pink cape. And it's like, well, in the mass device, he has a very, very pink cape and the Serpent Scepter, and that is what this particular figure is representing. I do have an image of that. There we go. Sorry, I got skimmed through lots of images to get to that. But yeah, there you go. Nice and clear and obvious. That's the homage. That's what they're going for. And that's why we have 37 Cobra Commanders so far, because he looks different in every single one of them somehow. And Super 7 are taking advantage of that big time, aren't they? Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I can't believe how many accessories the Bat comes with.
Oh, let's talk about the Bat. Yeah, good idea. It's the Battle Android Trooper. Let's go back to that image. Bottom left. Not only does he get his backpack, multiple, like the 3 extra attachments, as well as his hands that are on there already, but he also gets a massive rifle and a pistol. That's got to be the most. That's got to be the most for any one reaction figure so far in terms of accessories, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he already kind of has the features of all the hand attachments. Whenever we've talked about Bats in the past, you know, most of these reaction figures are only coming with like 1 accessory. So the thought of him coming with 3 attachments for his arm, I thought, well, maybe we'll get 1 or 2. I don't know if there will be a backpack. They'll just kind of make them so that they can swap out, and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then they show pictures of it, and it has the backpack, and then, you know, 2 other accessories like a pistol and a rifle. That's a lot that he comes with. And even Zartan, the changeable mask, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah. Changeable mask, the backpack, it goes in the backpack as well, the pistol. I mean, that is those 2 figures alone in this set make this a pretty solid wave because of the fact that Zartan's color changing feature, the backpack fit in their mask, the Bat's accessories, and the Sunbow style head as well, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
That kind of really like wide curves on the side and then the kind of point on the top, like a mohawk almost, is so Sunbow, isn't it? So yeah. I think those 2 alone make this a solid wave.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think that I really needed that other snakeling Snake Eyes without the hat.
Hatless. This is the opposite of when Smithers is like, Malibu Stacy's got a new hat, isn't it? This is Snake Eyes doesn't have a hat.
And maybe they did them in that order to avoid that comparison.
To avoid the meme being constantly used. But the thing is, they'll just change the text on the meme now to Malibu Stacy doesn't have a hat and a disc. She's got a disc and no hat.
Well, the disc comes with Shipwreck in the other set, right?
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, but honestly, though, we didn't even talk about, in my mind, what is the standout from this wave, which is
we're getting there. We're not at the end yet, Pat.
Okay.
Yeah, like CoverGirl 100% is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's check out Blonde CoverGirl to homage her appearance in the first miniseries. And I took this picture and specifically with this picture, Pat, because I talked about how Tim has basically been on the roids for this entire. Look at the size of him. Absolute brick poop house. Look at the size of Timber. He has been working out, hasn't he?
Yeah, they could, for the size of him there, he could be his own figure in his own package.
It looks like someone wearing a Timber costume, doesn't it? It looks like one of the just regular normal size characters has put a Timber costume on. Absolutely hench. But anyway, yeah, CoverGirl, take us through how happy you are about this, because we've talked about this in the past, how we expected Super 7 to do something like this.
Yeah, I really like it. If you look at the design of her, it is the design of the same body as the version 1 CoverGirl, just in green. And this is one that I really want to see Hasbro tackle as well in the O-ring line. I don't know that that's going to happen though. So in the meantime, I think that this is a good one to have. And then the inclusion of that accessory, I think, is probably also a nod. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing. Yeah, go and take us through it, because it's something to do with Was it like a foreign figure that had this?
I believe it's is it Sparta from South America that has it's the cover girl figure in different colors, and she includes that stalker rifle. So I think that they've included that stalker rifle here as a nod. Is that the first that we've gotten a stalker rifle?
I think it is, and I also think that it's also, like you said, it's gonna be a precursor to Stalker in the next wave, possibly.
Yeah,
or maybe even a Duke or something, another Duke. I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about like future waves, because I think this wave kind of brings us to that point of what Philip told me they had initially mentioned, is that I think they had 80 some figures in mind. Well, I guess I should say this wave brings us to that point, and the San Diego one brings us well beyond it, because we are now on my list, I think, to 95 reaction figures.
My goodness, that's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Someone's wrote, "Is Timber wearing glasses on this shot?" Ed says, "Timber's been hitting the rail cart again, hasn't he?" Absolutely. Diecast Nick, Timber is wearing glasses. Amazing. Roided up pooch says peppermint oil capsule. It's so true, isn't it? But like, sorry, just all made me laugh in a massive way. Right. Anyway, keep the comments coming in, guys. It's amazing. So that's all of the wave. Now, this was spotted on the back card by, shout out to PG_toys on Twitter, aka Paige Wagner, one of the Wag Bros. That's the moniker I've given them, Paige and Greg. Now, Greg spotted this, and then Paige posted on Twitter to say, "Look what we just found. Look what my brother just found. Ninja Coup on the back of the card." Now, it's not the first time. So, like, right, let me get me my thoughts together here before I say this. If this is a Target exclusive, which it had, like the Red Ninja was, and like the Fun School Snake Eyes, etc., then it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it would appear on the back of the card, because we did see Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes, which were Target exclusives, on the back of other previous cards, those particular ones. So, with that said, Pat, we're probably looking here, aren't we, at that Storm Shadow repaint as Ninja Coup as a Target exclusive, aren't we?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. We even talked about that whenever we were looking at the waves. It was, each wave kind of has that exclusive associated with it. So we kind of were wondering whether or not there would be something, and here it is.
Absolutely. So obviously this is a direct homage of Ninja Coup Cobra Black from the Nuevos Heroes G.I. Joe line from Plastorama in Argentina. And yeah, there you go. Now this particular repaint of Storm Shadow was given a black skin tone. And I kind of hope they do that with the Ninja Coup figure and make it like a different character, because I think that would be kind of cool, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was a bit of a miss whenever 25th anniversary just released it as Storm Shadow.
Yeah, like
they wanted to get another Storm Shadow, make that figure consistently available on shelves. I get that. But at the same time, we kind of lost out on having a unique character. So
yeah, I agree on that.
I prefer Ninja Coup to be Ninja Coup.
The fact they've called it Ninja Coup on here, and if I look really close, it does look like black skin on there. Honestly, it does look like a black skin tone.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'm really excited to see this figure.
I hope there aren't 9 of them.
Well, it's going to be in a similar way that this was done, wasn't it?
I would think, yeah.
This was obviously another Storm Shadow repaint, but it's a Red Ninja. So Super 7 it's not been Storm Shadow in different costumes. It's been just the figure repainted. And again, we got the Satan weapons deco in this particular as an homage as well. So it's like they're drawing loads of homages and creating something else in a way, aren't they, a lot of the time? So the same could be said there for Ninja Coup, and it's probably what I'm expecting, I would say.
Yeah, I would expect that as well.
All right, then. Well, we should probably move on, because we've still got loads to get through. And the next bit of news is probably the biggest bit of news of the week. I know it's crazy, isn't it? We'll try and get through it fast, though. And that is the HasLab. No, I got that one. The biggest news of the week had to be the monumental final few days of the HasLab H.I.S.S tank campaign. Emily and Lenny jumped on Instagram Live on the last day to show off the painted model one more time and to thank all of the backers for their support to that point. There were a few tidbits of info dropped regarding the project as well as things to follow, and a brand new colour render of the retro Cobra Commander was also revealed. What followed the stream can only be described as insanity, as the final number of backers, or units as we have been informed, landed confidently at 26,772. Crazy pants. Actual crazy pants. Actual crazy pants. So the HasLab H.I.S.S tank, or the HasLab H.I.S.S tank, as I was calling it beforehand, this was the biggest news of the week, definitely. And it was kind of one of those things where people were more or less expecting a big push in the last few days. I don't think many people expected the number that it landed on, though. I mean, that was insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I'm sure that the goal would have been higher had they known that it could reach that, you know, just to keep the excitement going for a while, because we just kind of allowed it to ride. Did you refresh it today again, expecting it to have changed?
Yes. It didn't. I know that. I think this is slightly different in that, yes, you're going to get people that back out for many different reasons, whether it's monetarily or you know, just they've had time to think about it and gone like, yeah, actually, I probably can't do this for whatever reason. So that's obviously going to happen. But I would say that this is one of those ones where I think most people, once they've got on board, it's like they don't want to get off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I do expect a drop off though at some point. Still amazed that it was even close to 27k, and I don't mean that in like I didn't have any confidence in it, but I'm always so far off in my judgment on these things. Like some people were calling this a bit of a failure in that it didn't reach the Galactus numbers, and I'm thinking, really? I mean, I don't really see that, honestly. I see this as an absolutely insane win, and it broke many records in different for different reasons.
Yeah,
like obviously
I didn't even realize it didn't hit the Galactus numbers.
Yeah, Galactus was like 30 something, wasn't it? 30 and then something. I don't know if it was like over 30, like 31 or 32. I think it was about 30 something. But you know, like this is the high end, by the way. 27-ish K is the high end of HasLab. Like it's not, you're talking like 3,000 units, which is a lot. But you're talking Marvel here versus G.I. Joe. And in this current scenario, like, I don't know how you could call that.
Yeah, I enjoy there was a meme of Lenny like looking forward to like the budget for G.I. Joe going up.
Shout out to Lenny and Emily and the whole team. Yeah, I saw that and I had to have a wry laugh, like round the corner of the tree.
It really should give him more leeway to do more stuff. It really should.
Yeah, agreed. I think we're probably already seeing that a little bit. I think we saw a little bit of a bump before HasLab kicked off. I think there was a slight, like, because they were talking about 5 figures per wave. They were all of a sudden we're getting like a lot more new characters revealed as opposed to like repaints. And I know we had that kind of like that event just prior, where it was like there were a lot of repaints in there, but I feel like it started to kind of shift a little bit again, and I think the HasLab has just kind of pushed it beyond any expectations. But anyway, really cool. Emily and Lenny, jumped on Instagram Live and did a little kind of like thank you, showed the model off a little bit more, went through all the features again carefully because that is a painted model that's been around the houses. And and they did drop a few little bits of information. So obviously, number 1 doesn't really count anymore because that happened ages ago. It closed at 11:59 p.m. EST. The H.I.S.S tactician poll will follow shortly after the campaign ends. We're still waiting for that information to drop, and we actually put a little vote ourselves out, like a little mini vote. And I know H.I.S.S Tank have done it. I know multiple people have made these posts in different groups about what version do you want, and we'll talk about that in a second as well, Pat. But we did a little vote as well, and it was interesting to see all of the numbers on that. I was kind of like totaling them all up, and then in the end I just went, well, we'll get to that anyway. H.I.S.S merch will be added to HASBRO Pulse very soon as well. So like t-shirts, I imagine the t-shirt that everyone's been talking about will go up on there with the repurposed Moray logo kind of repurposed into the HISS tank. And the retro and O-ring cardstock will be improved going forward, Pat. So let's talk about that, because that's an important one, especially for yourself. This is in like response, I guess, to the Walmart shipping fiasco. But then there's some other new issue that's kind of cropped up with the O-ring, isn't there?
For me particularly, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I can tell you for sure that I got my, they're right over here. I got my Duke and Cobra Commander yesterday.
Sorry, I didn't actually put this image up. I forgot.
That's
but
okay. I have them here.
Yeah.
But certainly the card backs are much better quality already. They've gotten thicker, like already. So moving forward, as in with Duke and Cobra Commander, but I haven't contacted Hasbro yet. I have a rather unique issue with mine. Let me see. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is a melted bubble, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, both of them arrived completely melted bubbles.
Yikes. Yeah, it's kind of like almost formed around the figure, hasn't it?
Yeah, like you can really see like Duke's helmet in there is,
yeah,
it's formed to the helmet, like the plastic has melted to the helmet. So
yes,
I don't know. One of the other local people I know, he got his yesterday too and did not have that issue. So
right,
I don't know if mine sat on a truck, if it sat in a Connex for a long time, where it was, but for whatever reason, yeah, mine are melted.
So that obviously they have changed the plastic bubble quality on them. So that is going to be an issue if obviously, like, again, it's extreme heat that does that to the cards. But still, even with that, you wouldn't expect that to be like within weeks. You'd expect that to be within years, not like, you'd expect that to be like a long period of time in like a warm environment. So yeah, that is a little bit concerning. Hopefully it isn't across the board, and hopefully Hasbro can replace those for you, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I almost feel bad because I'm planning to open them anyway, so it may not matter, but I don't know if the figures inside are affected yet.
Totally. And if you open them, then I know what you're saying. It's probably safe to just say, hey, Hasbro, this happened with mine particular. Because if you don't, then there might be other people that have the same issue. And if they're not all, saying this is an issue, then and I know the internet has kind of made it very easy for people to kind of to air that grievance at least. So I would definitely say something just to say like, hey, this looks like it's an issue. I think it is the plant-based bubbles, Jeffrey. I know you're asking about that. I think it is. That's effectively what's happened there. Is the change of the quality of the bubble, or Pat, yours were just for some reason exposed to a volcano or hell itself for a short period of time.
They just didn't have very much space in the truck delivering them, so they stuck them right next to the engine.
On the engine?
On the engine.
Drop them in and around the engine. It'll be fine. These ones, the plastic are on. That's fine. It'll be fine. I think they're going to Pat. So yeah, no worries. Naked HD. Yeah, okay, yeah. No worries. Slam, drive off. And then they just kept the engine running when they stopped. They filled up with the engine running. They just the whole time just to destroy yours, Pat. Anyway, that sucks, and I hope you can get it sorted out. But at least the card stock's solid, right?
The card stock is really good. It feels almost vintage-like now. It's much better than before, and it shows. Like even though the bubbles melted, the cards maintained their shape pretty well, and there's not like that warping at all that was going on with the other ones. They look a lot better.
It's insane that they've made them flame retardant, the cards. If the if the heat that's gone on those bubbles is anything to go by, then I'm very surprised those cards didn't suffer in any way, shape, or form. In actual fact, I'm surprised the bubble just didn't slide off.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was surprised about too. I even kind of like, squeezed it a bit to see if I could see the separation of it start to happen, and it didn't. They're holding on rather securely. So
improve the card, improve the glue, and then downgrade the plastic bubble. And that's what you get. That's what you get. Anyway, that was all the little tidbits that we got. Tidbits, sorry. I didn't say tit. And again, this was just Emily reinforcing the card stock on the retro card backs as well. and obviously the figures going forward with the retro O-ring line. And then we had this render of Cobra Commander drop as well. Boom, there you go. So Pat, what do you think of Cobra Commander? Looking at it from the new kind of what is effectively a sort of final render.
Yeah, he looks really good. I'm just eager to get them in hand. That's all. I'm wondering, is this the one though that Lenny said is still up in the air as to whether or not it was going to have a vac metal head?
Yeah, they're working out what the best
We'll
course
see.
of action is. Yeah, and also hopefully you don't get it with. They then put this on the engine, is what I'm saying.
Right. Hopefully it's not melted.
Anyway, yeah, and then finally for the HISS tank, we got the vote to come. Now, I put this out on, like I said, last week, and the majority seemed to be in favor of number 2, the black and red, version of the 2 black and red versions. But there were a lot of calls for 6 as well. Obviously, the purple. A lot of people want the purple, and again, there was a lot more than I expected for other numbers too. So there was again lots and lots of kind of votes. But I think in general, overall, I know from what we could gather from Facebook, Twitter, and a YouTube post as well on the YouTube community page, it seems that number 2 is the one that I think we're probably going to get. What do you think about that, Pat?
I'm kind of surprised. I thought that number 1 and 4 are very similar in several ways. Number 3 and 4 kind of have the same head, or they look like they do have the same head.
They do, yeah.
So yeah, I kind of find these ones to be almost like minor differences. It almost would be fun if it was like a staged set of votes, so that it was like, what do you want the primary color of the figure to be? And, there'd be like purple, blue, or black or red. And then after we voted on that, then to go into the specifics, okay, of all the ones that are primarily black, here are the ones that are 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Which one is going to be the most popular one, and to go that way. But maybe that would just be too much voting and too much for them.
It would take 3 weeks to get through the vote, unfortunately.
I think yeah. But they have done similar votes, like I think for Transformers, when they were doing some fan vote characters for the combiners, I think they did it that way because they did like the faction, the origin of them, and then the name and various things like that. So they could do that, but I'm going to be satisfied with whichever one we get. I don't know. Number 2, it's cool. I kind of have it in my head though that an opposite colored HISS driver with like red boots and the rest of it being mostly black, like take the red and the black and reverse them. That feels like what belongs in a red HISS tank to me. Like that'd be something that I would like to see with that.
You're wrong. A repainted Destro belongs in a.
Well, I'm talking more than one figure though. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Could you imagine if they made? Could you imagine if they made Red Jackal the tactician for the red HISS? How cool would that be?
That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Like reimagine him in some way.
Yeah, totally.
I think that would be. I think it'd be great.
Like it could be. They could call it Destro still. I'm straight up being like legit here. They could call it Destro to keep it in universe or whatever, and they could just have him change, like all the gear and the logo and everything, and then you've effectively got Red Jackal without having to call it Red Jackal.
Yeah, they could. It goes back to what we were saying earlier though about Ninjaku. I would like it to retain that unique character. So
it's hard though with Destro, isn't it?
It really is hard with Destro. He's one of the more difficult ones of the Action Force characters to kind of delineate from being Destro.
They even managed to do Cobra Commander pretty well, didn't they? To turn him into Red Laser.
Oh yeah. He's very different, but Red Jackal is mostly Destro with a red chest and a white collar instead of red collar. So
absolutely. I bounced around all of these different versions. I was on like 6 initially because I really liked the purple, but then I thought the only one that I'd love the blue, but I was also thinking they're probably going to do Rip It at some point. and we'll probably get Rip-It with another HISS tank at some point. So I was kind of like, maybe not, veer away from that one. But again, they all look cool, and no matter what we get, I'm probably going to be happy. But again, like I think 2 was Ron Rudat's favorite, and I think most people have kind of gone with that since, really. Anyway, that was the vote, and well, it hasn't happened yet, but as soon as it does, you know, obviously we'll be voting. But it looks like a lot of people have made their minds up at this point. I'm not saying that we're not. Yeah, that's the other problem, isn't it? Like I'm still kind of thinking, oh, what am I going to choose? I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out soon when the pressure's on and everyone chooses 4 randomly for no reason. Although that is pretty cool as well. Right then, next up then, guys, we've actually come to the end of the news segment, but there's one last thing we need to discuss before we get into shout-outs, and that is in competition news. We ran a competition last week to give away a set of classified figures and asked you the question, what episode of the Sunbow cartoon saw Storm Shadow and Spirit battle against each other for the first time? The correct answer, of course, was part 3 of the Revenge of Cobra miniseries, also known as the Palace of Doom. We can reveal that the winner of that competition is Cast Cat. Congratulations, we will get those out to you as soon as you email us your mailing address. It doesn't end there though, no. We are giving away another set of these awesome classified figures. You know the drill, drop a comment on the Facebook or YouTube video with the correct answer to the following question. The 1983 Swivel Arm Cobra Trooper action figure was used again for which figure in 1989? Now get to commenting and good luck. Ooh, am I being a bit sneaky with that one, Pat? I think I am. It's a little bit of a trick question, that one, guys. So bear in mind that when you answer that question, I'll start off with the hints on that one. It's a touch of a trick question, and Pat knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we've got another 3 of these to give away. Congratulations to Cast Cat. You'll be getting these ones that are in my hand right now. I'll be putting those in a box and sending them to you as soon as, obviously, you know, you get in contact with us with your mailing address. You know, don't post it on the video or anything like that. Email us, the fullforcepodcast@gmail.com, and we will get those out to you as soon as we can. Now, and like I said, for everyone else, in the comments, get your answers in for who they reutilized that 1983 Swivel Arm figure for. Now, in 1989. Now, then, we have shout-outs, I guess, Pat. So if you're ready, we'll get stuck into those, buddy.
Sounds good.
Hey there, guys. Just wanted to let you know about an app that I've been helping to develop for a few years now called HOARDAR. But what is HOARDAR, I hear you scream? Well, a number of years ago, I discussed a project with a good friend of mine and now co-owner/developer about an app that could help collectors of all shapes and sizes. I'm talking about the shapes and sizes of the collections, really, but also people. The app would be a place where you could share your new items, build collections and sub-collections, or just browse the feed to see cool things. Well, we made it. We tested it for a number of years, and now it's out there for you to enjoy on iOS or Android devices. You can upload a single item at a time at your own pace and slowly build your collections. You can post status updates that could be related to your collections, like getting a delivery or posting a scene in which you can tag items in that image if you've uploaded them in the past. You can add tags to your items in order to easily search for and find them, and of course to add them into your respective collections. You can like posts, comment on them, or start a conversation with a fellow collector, directly message users you follow, and even add items you see on your feed to your want list. If you prefer to use your computer or laptop, have no fear, you can use the website browser version and even utilise the awesome inventory option, allowing any user to change certain details, add notes, upload bulk items from spreadsheet files, and download a CSV of your entire itemised collection. We made this app for collectors, and we hope that you enjoy using it as much as we enjoyed creating it. Now get to hoarding.
Right then, shout-outs. Pat, we're going to have to rinse through these, apologies, but that's mainly because, you know, I don't want to keep you from getting late for work. Who have you got this week?
Of course, Philip. I still owe, well, I don't know if I owe him a video or if he owes me one. We need to get on getting another articulated points up for the week. He's my partner in articulated points.
Absolutely. Shout out to Phil. And I'm going to go straight into the fam, to all of them, to the UK fam. I know Mom was watching earlier. I'm sorry I missed your comments, Mom, earlier. I know you probably threw a couple of hearts in while we were
making an absolute mess of the opening of this video. But yeah, great to see you on the show again, and shout out to mum and dad in the UK, and shout out to my lovely family in the Midwest as well. Love to everybody, and of course to my wife Kate and Phoebe, who's been trotting around pressing buttons and barking all episode long, but I don't think anyone minds. I don't mind if you guys don't mind. She's part of the show now in the background most of the time anyway. So shout out to them. Also shout out to Brian for the amazing graphics. Also, of course, check out Codename Iowa, links in the description, for any updates on assembly required in November, which obviously the vendor options have kind of opened up now, so you can go and get that through the website, codenameiowa.com. There's Mom. There she is. She's commenting, so let's say hi. Thanks. One, both for Pat. We know those hearts are for Pat. And also, so yeah, shout out to Brian. Thanks for all the beautiful graphics, mate. We really appreciate it. To Total Action Force Volume 2, Paddy Lennon and Brian Hickey, this wonderful shot of the Mobile Command Center they posted recently. And it was basically to promote the fact that they're doing pre-orders for Volume 2. So if you missed out on the Kickstarter, you can pre-order a book now, and like I said, link in the description. And Paddy also posted a couple of pages as well. This is Ace and Alpine, and also Airtight from the book. So everything's looking really cool and exciting, and I can't wait. Honestly, I've seen a lot of this book already, and it's absolutely beautiful. And obviously, if you've got the first volume, then you know exactly what to expect. And obviously, with an image like that, you know exactly what to expect in terms of the visuals. How gorgeous is that, Pat? Seriously,
it looks great. Yeah.
I love the light inside inside the cockpit. It's just awesome, isn't it? Steamroller. Who else is in there?
Just the right amount of light. That would be so easy if I was trying to do that, to have it be way too bright in there, or to have it be way too dark. But he knows what he's doing with the camera, and I do not. So
Brian Hickey absolutely knows what he's doing with the camera. It just taking pictures is what he does with it, and it's amazing. Anyway, shout out to Paddy and Brian for Total Action Force. And this is the other, to Dan Kay, creating G.I. Joe, the official book series. Volume 9 and 10 are in the works, and there should be some more information about that coming soon. But in the meantime, he's been posting these amazing double-page spreads, and he just so happened to post probably the greatest double-page spread of all human history here, Pat. And that is Lightfoot with concept art by Tom Renck, and I believe presentation art by Mark Pennington, and like a 2-up of the figure, and then some other bits and pieces where that artwork has kind of managed to. In fact, that might be is that the final presentation art down there? I can't remember what that is. The one in the bottom right, which is kind of like.
I don't know what that is actually.
But it's basically more detailed version of Tom Renck's original color kind of sketch.
That may be the original presentation art there down below, because the one on the left looks like it's more the retailer presentation art.
Yeah, definitely. Well, get the book to find out. That's what you have to see. There you go. That's what I've done there. Anyway, beautiful spread, and shout out to Dan Kay, who usually is on the show. I'm not sure if he's been.
And more to your point, we've talked about before, which is the front of the robot and which is the back of the robot.
Well, yeah, because it looked like when it was originally conceived, the lenticular sticker aspect was facing the wrong way, and because in the concept art, we've got the robot like in what we would consider going backwards, and in the presentation art, and on the card art. So in every single facet of the artwork we've seen, the robot is always going backwards compared
to what I would always expected as a kid. With it in the hand, I always expected the lenticular to be on the front like a bat has, but it turns out that it's more matching the backpack of Lightfoot. So the lenticular is on the back of both of them, and the front of the robot is that opposite side. Yeah, I kind of see it as like the electronics being exposed. I know it doesn't make any sense, but in my head it does. That's what the strongest part of the connection to his remote would be, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that makes sense. So I know that's kind of a bit silly, but it's almost like, if you remember like back in the day when if you had a remote control that was like infrared, you had to kind of get it pretty spot on, or like you had to line it up when the battery started going a little bit. It feels a little bit like that, like a little bit old school future. But anyway, awesome. And good. I can't believe we got so many minutes out of that. You're the one that's going to be late for work, Pat. That's I am going to be late. That's fine. I'm just kidding. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. Another cracking weekly in the bag. Thank you so much, guys,
for all the comments. If you want in on the competition, don't forget to answer the question. If you don't remember, if you've just joined in and you don't remember the question, just go back and watch that little section of the video and find out. Basically, I'm not repeating it. So thank you to all of our listeners, viewers, all of our patrons. Got some cool stuff coming up for our patrons as well in next week. So stay tuned for that. Pat, buddy, thank you so much for doing this and appreciate you staying so long.
Yeah, and thanks for everybody's patience today. I apologize that we were a little bit late.
Hey, things happen, technical issues happen, and I still can't believe you made it in the last second. That was unbelievable. Okay, guys, you know what to do at the end of all these episodes. After 3, but before I do that, I'm going to get lined up. After 3, 1, 2, 3,
full force.
See you later. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.